Okay. Good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining us this morning for this webinar on the future of Bizmerang. So, as you'll know, presenters this morning, myself, Shane McCann, and my partner, Guy Bucknell. And what we've gone through this morning, we'll be talking about the present status of Bizmerang, what, as we see it, are the problems with networking currently, what our solution to these problems will be, our team, the Bizmerang team, the market for networking, why we'll be different to anyone else out there who is doing networking platforms organizations, how the Bizmerang app will work, the benefit to members for joining the Bizmerang app, what's in it for the circle leaders to join, our project plan, and we'll be finishing off with a quick question and answer session. So, most of you will know me as the founder and host of the Bizmerang Facebook group. I started Bizmerang as a way to help scratch an itch that I had, and that itch was that I was having difficulties finding ways to network with local business people and connect with other like-minded people. So I started the Bizmerang Facebook group as a place for local business people to connect, to collaborate, to pass referrals to each other, and basically to help and support each other. And whilst the growth of the group has been amazing, we now I think have over 2,600 members, I feel Bizmerang could be a lot more useful and beneficial to each of its members. Therefore, I set off on a journey to improve Bizmerang. Back in September of last year, I joined a program called the Co-Founders Program, which is run by Catalyst up in Belfast. The whole idea of that is to put together business people to form small groups to start a startup. And that's where I met partner Guy Bucknell, who'll be talking to you later today. And when we went through that program, we went through what's called a design thinking process, where we interviewed local business people to really get a feel for what their business problems were and potential solutions to those problems. And then we went through different ideas, generated ideas as to potential solutions to those problems. We tested those ideas over and over. We went through this process 3 times until we created initial concepts for a platform that we feel will revolutionize the world of networking. First of all, what's the point? Why even go down this road? What are the problems with networking as they currently are that need this revolutionary solution? Well, when I started networking a few years ago, I found that most of the networking that I did was a waste of time. I would go to event after event. I'd come home with a pocket full of business cards, but without having actually made any real strong connections. As I see it, the main problems with offline networking is that it can be time consuming, it can be expensive, and there can be a real lack of benefit from the networking that you do. With online networking, one can find themselves hopping from channel to channel, searching for the right content, hoping to make a quality connection, basically doing a lot of work for the big social networks and not getting paid for it. For networking to be useful, you have to make quality connections. Of course, quality is in the eye of the beholder, but if a network is for everyone, then it's for no one. What's our solution? Well, we're creating an app that enables members to connect with the right people and receive the right content. Our focus will be in ensuring quality, both in the connections made and the content received. Our platform will be stratified into multiple groups, which will be called circles. These groups will be exclusive, they'll be focused, they'll be coordinated by an incentivized person. What we do not want is for our members to spend their time on our platform looking at cat videos or clicking on the latest clickbait article. Basically, the focus will be on quality and benefit to the member. We expect each member to get maximum benefit from minimal effort. And in the future, each of the groups can be aligned with what would be called networks, which will allow members to connect with like-minded people from outside their geographical location. And I'll give you a bit of an idea of how this is all going to work in practice. I'll use myself as an example. As you may know, I'm a solicitor based in Dungannon. I personally myself would like to be a member of 3 different networking groups. I would like to be a member of a networking group for local business people in Dungannon area, where we We meet regularly, where we share referrals with each other, where we're there to help support each other. I'd also like to be a member of a mastermind group, which would have in it like-minded, high-achieving entrepreneurs, where we help each other to achieve our goals and set goals. I'd also like to be a member of a group for solicitors in Northern Ireland, where I can ask questions related to my profession, where I can pass referrals to other solicitors, where I don't have the speciality, or where there's a conflict of interest, say. And I'd like that solicitor group to be part of a larger network of legal groups across the UK, where I can keep on top of industry trends, where I can connect with like-minded solicitors outside the Northern Ireland jurisdiction. Who's the founding team? Well, it's myself, Shane McCann. I'm the founding partner with the original Itch. I'm a practicing solicitor. I created and run the existing Bizmerang Facebook group. My partner is Guy Bucknell. He's an experienced marketeer with over 25 years experience. Previous history in a startup and an exit back in 2009. His client list includes such names as British Airways, Mars UK, Reckitt and Bankhazer, plus multiple local successful startups. And now I'd like to pass you over to Guy, who's going to talk to you a bit more about the app and the benefits of it. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I'll just
cheers, Shane.
Stop my share and
so this is where we have that technical difficult handover, isn't that right?
Yes.
So just bear with us a second. Right, are you unsharing? I'm just sharing.
I'm no longer sharing, so you can share now.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just go here, and so can everybody see my screen and hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Thanks very much. Okay. So thanks for that, Shane. Let's just take it on to the next, moving swiftly on rather than hanging around by experience, etc. Okay, so what we're trying to do here, well, first off, is let's trying to tell you a little bit about where this is going to sit within the existing market, etc. And as a marketing strategist, I don't really like talking about macro market sizes. I prefer to take my clients through highly niched operations to start with. But because of the plethora of niche is that we can cover with Bizmerang, that in fact, just to give you a little rough idea of where the sort of areas that we're going to play in, is that there's a macro market size of nearly 5.8 million SMEs in the UK and nearly 28 million SMEs across the US. Those who are playing in this market at the moment, who are organizations designed for networking, range from everything from Vistage, which you might not have heard of, but it specializes in linking CEOs and C-suite people together. And it's based on a similar sort of structure as we're talking about, where you would have a group that has a central leader, but each one of those members is paying up to £8,000 per annum to be in that group. And there are 22,000 members of Vistage across the UK alone. Chambers of Commerce, of course, you've probably already heard of, and you may well be a member of. 75,000 member companies across the UK, with roughly £350 per annum. BNI, another one. I know there's of the 48 people that signed up for this webinar, there's quite a few BNI members in there already. And again, you're probably paying something like £750 per annum. LinkedIn, 260 million monthly users. Basic version is free, but actually to get the best benefit of it, if you upgrade to Sales Navigator or any of the other upgraded products, about 850 quid a year, sorry. Alignable, quite similar to what we're doing, but it's US based only. Again, $800 plus. And Google Plus, which of course was the biggest one, 350 million members, but is now essentially defunct. Yes, they're relaunching with Google Groups, etc., but it's gone. And of that list, it was the only one that was almost entirely free. So why will we be different? I spend a lot of time with early stage businesses and startups, etc. This is always the crux of how we're going to find some form of definition. Well, the major difference of what we're talking about here is creating what's called a decentralized platform. Decentralized platform is, so if you think about it at the moment, if you're a content producer or a membership site or anything like that, particularly the content side, you are producing a lot of content, you're spending a lot of time, quite often a lot of money in producing content. But actually, the real beneficiary of that, yes, you've got your members and all that sort of stuff, and the members of the Facebook, they get that content. But financially, it goes to Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, the platform on which you're producing that content. So we all spend a lot of time generating value for Facebook. Now, if we want to get any further value, if we want to get that value out of that, we actually have to move people from one part of Facebook onto a specialist page and then sell them something else, or take them out of Facebook or LinkedIn onto a squeeze page of some sort and sell them another product. Whereas the platforms themselves, no, if you pay to speak to that audience, that money goes entirely to the platform owner. So those who are producing the content and doing the content work don't actually get rewarded for it directly. So what we're referring here to is circle leaders. Well, in this case, circle leaders going to gain the financial benefit of their work, and you'll see how we do that in a second. And that each of the member chooses 100 of their content sources, because when we're coming out of Facebook, or when this platform is not going to be based on Facebook or one of those centralized platforms. In fact, actually the member gets to choose rather than what content they want. So rather than us be the platform firing content down to them and saying you might like this, etc., no, you get to choose your own content. The second thing is it's DIY bespoke. The circle leaders will create their own separate circles for each of their diverse interests. Okay, and the member has a single platform for all of their networking across diverse interests. So a member might join 3 circles, and then member newsfeed will only have content that is coming specifically from those 3 circles. Now, why do we think this is a good idea? Well, I picked this up from The Verge last year, where the quote by the author was, "The circles metaphor that Google Plus launched with felt to me like an overly complex solution to a very real problem that no other social site has since managed to solve." And that is, how do you broadcast meaningfully to very different audiences without different accounts? The last point of why we'll be different is that, in fact, the quality. Because of the way we're setting the network up, the content flow will be created by humans for humans, or for humans by humans, down to a granular level. It does not rely on a mystical algorithm. You're not relying on some tech wizard in a baseball cap and worn the wrong way around with some spots, dictating the parameters that what you might find as useful content for you going forward. In fact, actually, within your circle, there is a single human who is moderating that content for you. And members can only connect with members in the same circles as them. So no more mass and irrelevant invitations and connections. Oh yes, please. I mean, I've got 800 plus connections on LinkedIn, etc. And my LinkedIn feed is, as a consequence, almost useless, because there is so much, sometimes it's crap, and there might be the other nugget of useful information. But in fact, actually, this is something we were addressing with other social media firehose platforms that we produce. Actually, you get in your news feed, you get what for some people is a river of crap, and so what's crap for me today at 10 o'clock today might actually be really good stuff at 11 o'clock, depending on what I'm trying to do at that time. So how will it work? So you've seen this picture before, that Shane showed slightly earlier on. So imagine the person on the left-hand corner here with the yellow hair is the circle leader. Now, circle leader is essentially, in this case, has formed 3 circles, and the circle leader is really the moderator, the convener, the recruiter, and the quality control for that circle. In this description, what we're seeing here is circle members who are chatting, engaging, sharing, etc. Shown here says that they're sitting around tables, but actually the majority of this will be online. But those circles can also quite easily move offline, as you'll see further on down the line. Now, when you put all of that together, structure is not that a circle member can only be members of circles that are within that circle leaders network. Can somebody just give me a thumbs up? Just check, we see we can still hear me. Yeah, cheers, Alison. Yeah, thanks, and Martin, thank you. Now, so what you then can have is circle members come from one circle belonging to Alison, for example, but also being members of other circles that are completely differentiated from Alison's networks and circles to maybe a circle that is run by Shane or Guy or Martin or Niall or whatever it may be. And the thing to remember here is that each circle has a different value and therefore a different price. And the circle leader sets that price. All right. So, for example, if I create a circle that is dealing with, well, in Shane's case, let's say I'm looking forward to creating a networking circle in and around Cumber, for example. All right, and I'm running a nail bar or whatever it may be. Now, it might be that the quality, just because of the level of what we're trying to do and the connections we're trying to make there, that might only be worth £5 a month to each of the members. But if I, for example, I've done quite a lot of work for Formula One in the past, so if I was to create a network of Formula One team managers, for example, who get paid gazillions of pounds of money, but everything that they do is worth gazillions of pounds additionally, then etc. In fact, actually, I can charge them gazillion pounds, well, not quite gazillion, but a significantly higher amount to be a member of that circle, because the quality and the value of the content that's coming into that circle is that's how much it is, that's what it's worth. Now, if you've done anything in big data or work with social media fire hoses, etc., you'll understand that when you have quite a few members, that in fact actually they then start, and you open it up where they can all connect with each other, etc., you can then start creating these quite serious neural networks. So if you, for example, if you think that you have 1,000 members, then in fact actually there's potentially within the network about 1 million connections, or 1,001 members. Means that every member could connect to another 1,000 members around them. So in fact, you create this new neural network of nearly 1 million connections. And then as Shane touched on, circles will connect into networks of related interests. And this is slightly further on down the line, but essentially what you would see is you might have up the top left-hand here, you'll see a sort of a general purple area where that might be sort of legal-based circles that are forming together into networks. And content from those networks will feed down into those individual circles. And then down the right-hand side, you might have Formula One or sailing or high net worth investors or whatever it may be, generally connected around a group of circles down there on the right-hand side. So what's in it for the basic members? Well, circle membership will bring a number of benefits. And the first one is that everyone in that circle is there for the same reason. They're there for a special interest or a profession or a product vertical, etc. So one of the big issues that we have with Bizmerang at the moment as a Facebook group is that you've got nearly 2,800 people, etc., who are one big amorphous group. The only thing that connects with them really is that they want a network, but it's very difficult. So when we're doing the research, a lot of people that we talked to came back and said, look, see, at the beginning, Bizmerang was absolutely brilliant. There was 200 or 300 members, and I could really connect and do stuff and get some really interesting connections. But now that it's become this much amorphous stuff, yes, it's great for quick questions of, where do I get this printed? Can somebody help me this? Here's a quick question on my bat, etc. But to get the real benefits of a networking group, you actually have to sort of narrow it down into some specialisms, which is where the circles come into. Those circle memberships, they get to meet others for mutual benefit. So not just for leads, but for support, encouragement, accountability, sort of stuff that there is a Vistage gets into. They get together, they get to create together their stories, their experiences, their practical ideas. So it's a learning group. It's it's a self-support mechanism within that circle. And they get to navigate topics that they don't have easy answers to, So the stuff that you can't Google. Well, you can Google everything, but when you Google something, in fact, actually it serves up a list of sites and documents, etc., that you can go and read. And you then have to go and extract that information and extract the answers that you want from it. And it's one directional rather than bidirectional or multi-directional conversations. And essentially what we're grouping this under is, people for each of the circles, is that people like us do things like this. On the content, they only receive the content from circles that they have chosen to join. It's quality content. The circle leader is responsible for the quality of the content. If the member doesn't like it, they simply leave the circle. It's almost, what we're creating here is almost a perfect market. That if you don't like it, if you don't like the quality of the content, or you don't think it's worth the £5 or £10 or £20 a month that you're paying for it, you just walk away from that circle. That's the way. As a consequence, it's low volume content. Because you're only getting content from the circles that you've joined, you have a personalized news feed, and it's only made of the content from your circle. So there's no ads, no algorithms saying, oh, you might like this from so-and-so. We only expect the member to spend 5 minutes per day on the app. We're not expecting people to get sucked into this is not meant to be another form of entertainment, such as Facebook, etc., or Instagram. We only expect members to come in quickly, maybe once or twice a day, check their app, see what's going on in their particular networking newsfeed, and go away and get on with what they get paid to do. And they only pay for the relevant content. As I said before, if you decide to leave the circle, you stop paying for that circle. So therefore, the member directly matches their spend to the benefit they receive. So it's not like Vistage or Chambers of Commerce or BNI, where you have a set fixed rate. And so for some people, it's fantastic value. For others, it's actually quite expensive. In our case, it's actually you're essentially matching your spend to the benefit that you receive. What are the circle leaders? Well, this is quite an old graph. It was actually produced by Content Marketing Institute back in 2013, but it still applies today. They list there the 10 basic problems or biggest problems or challenges that content marketers face. But Bizmerang, actually, the new Bizmerang platform will address nearly all of them. But it specifically addresses these top 4 of producing enough content, because you've got highly engaged members in each circle, that they will be engaging and producing content. Choosing the kind of content engages. If it doesn't engage, then circle members will begin to lead, and circle leaders will begin to understand what works for them, what works for their circles, and what doesn't. The variety of content, again, coming because you've got highly engaged members in each circle. They're producing a variety of content, and the lack of budget is a big problem for people. But hopefully we're going to address that as well. You'll see how we're going to do that right now. Well, not quite. Everyone in that circle is paying to be there. They are highly engaged. Now, back in the 90s, mid-90s, when I started working in marketing agencies, design marketing agencies in London, I was one of the kings of junk mail, and so we used to do all the junk mail before the leisure breaks, British Airways, and all that sort of stuff. And we're talking snail mail now, not email listings. And what we always looked for when we were buying mailing lists was lists of people who had subscribed or were paying to subscribe to a mailing list. So for us, magazine subscriptions and all that sort of stuff were really, really useful lists to be mailing to, because they were highly engaged in that process. And so as a consequence, what we're doing here is that because everyone in that circle is paying to be there, they will be highly engaged. The circle leader sets the pricing for the circle based on the value that it is delivering, roughly as I described beforehand. And the circle leader takes 80% of that revenue. Now, that revenue that they gain, that 80%, they can either take it and put it in their back pockets as payment for the time and effort they're putting into running the circle, or in fact, actually, they could take that money and use it to generate more really useful content. It's entirely up to them. By being a circle leader, you're automatically a thought leader. You gain value from the variety and quality of the circles that your members are in. So, for example, because a member's news feed is made up of content from a number of circles, that they will check their Bizmerang app on a regular basis, not just because of the content that you're producing, but because of the content that's coming from all of their circles. So as a consequence, the higher the quality of the circles, the other circles that they're members of, the higher the quality, the more people that have come back and going to see the content that's coming into their news feed from you as well. So actually, the circles working collaboratively will add real benefit to us all. You get the benefits of the Bizmerang brand and our promotional spend. As you can imagine, this is the first step on have quite a comprehensive business plan as to what monies are going to be spent where, and we are, let's say, yeah, we have a lot of investment potentially lined up. As long as we hit our trigger points, then the promotional spend will be there. You get, as I said before, you get paid for the content work you're already delivering. So a lot of people in here and content marketers will be producing a lot of content. And as I touched on beforehand, for you to get that benefit or financial benefit, you don't have to rely on selling your audience a related product or service. And lastly on this is that the platform is pre-built and all the admin is done for you. So again, you concentrate on providing that quality rather than having to deal with the tech issues and admin behind it. So let's quickly touch on the tech. This is a networking business. It's not a tech business. It relies on tech, but it's a networking business. And so initially, in fact, we're going to base the tech on the Mighty Networks platforms. Mighty Networks actually originally started off as Mighty Bell about 10 years ago, so it's proven tech over a 10-year period. Once we get to, so when we first launch the app, it will be Bizmerang on Mighty Networks. But once we have got to a critical mass, we will actually migrate it from Mighty Networks into its own standalone Bizmerang app altogether. Now, Mighty Networks has a number of things, and in fact, actually, we are not into tech development. It already has well-proven tech for member profiles, circle news feeds, personalized members news feeds. It has all the content creation stuff that we can look for. You can create posts in the same way as you can on LinkedIn and Facebook. You can add pictures, add videos, add text and links, etc. You can run polls and in quizzes and all that sort of stuff. It has courses. A lot of people on Mighty Networks at the moment run courses. I've done courses on Zippy and Udemy, etc. And I haven't run a course on Mighty Networks yet, but one of the first things I will do when we launch the app is to run a course. And from what I can see, it does everything that the other guys do as well. It has content search, so topic tags, etc. So, for example, yes, you may be a member of one circle, but you will be able to search right across all the circles that are not just in your network, but are on the platform using topic tags, etc., to see what topics are running where and what circles you might want to be a member of. And finally, it does have a payments collection system. Well, they're just finishing off it's in beta test at the moment, and it will be launched in May 2019. So our project plan is really between now and January 2020, set up the MVP. So we've got, as I said, we're going to adapt a simple version of the Mighty Networks platform, recruit and basically train up to 30 circle leaders. It'll probably start at about 10 to start with, but then grow quite quickly to 30. And within those 30 circle leaders, what we're looking to find is what works and why at a very small level. The functionality of the app, does it do that what we expect it to do? What can we do? What workarounds, if there are any, for certain areas? The content ideas and strategies, etc. Then we move into initial low-level rollout, where we are into recruitment ideas and strategies, and testing of the payment system. And then finally, when we have proven all that works and we're all happy, we'll then upgrade, move it into our own standalone platform and engage the marketing afterburners, where it'll be an entirely standalone branded app backed by a significant marketing spend. So essentially, thanks for all coming in here, because what this is this is a call for our first 30 circle leaders. We are looking for people to help us develop the best way to use the app, and asking, do you want to be one of the first to set up circles in your niches? Initially, we will probably restrict it to 3 circles per circle leader, and then open it up at a later date. In the summer, there will be a further call for the next 50. and then we'll do the first launch in the autumn of this year, 2019, where it will then become an entirely self-contained platform with a major recruitment campaign for members and circle leaders. So actually, yes, that'll be later. So if you'd like to become a circle leader, simply go to bizmerang.com /CL enroll. And I know if you have already been around the website and found that page. So yeah, so we've got a few sign-ups already. For those of you who haven't and would like to become a circle leader, simply bizmerang.com /CL enroll. So any questions?
Yes, I have a question, Guy. That was very interesting. How will you decide what subjects are really relevant for a circle, or is that part of the process?
Sorry, you broke up there slightly with me.
How will you decide which subjects are actually relevant for a circle, or is that part of the?
Entirely up to the circle leader. Entirely up to the circle leader. So what we're trying to do here is create a platform that is fit for anything rather than everything. So rather than us trying to decide what works and what works and where we think people should be, yes, of course we can have some suggestions, but no, it's entirely up to circle leaders to lead us and do what they think works for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Good.
Question.
Anybody else? Hi, Eve.
From the latecomer, my apologies. How actually does the content move from circle to circle? And I don't know if you showed a copy of a feed or anything before I came on board, but is there a place for us to take a look at, I don't know, the mechanics?
That's for the next phase. So Shane and I have done some testing with Mighty Networks. But it has been some pretty basic testing, and that's why we think that we want to work with these first 10 to 30 circle leaders to test the network. But yes, we will be doing, once we have identified those circle leaders, we will then start into a program of showing people how that works.
Good.
Any more?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So for people that's maybe coming on board, so if the initial sort of launch, you have so many members into the circle, and months down the line, as more people are coming into it, leaders are going to be producing this sort of high value content. Is there going to be a way for them to easily, sort of find that leaders content, or are they just going to be greeted with an entire news feed that they sort of search for through maybe months and months of content?
So you mean as new members come in late into a circle, can they see all the back content? Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So each circle has its own newsfeed. So every time something's posted in there, it's into that newsfeed. So you would just scroll back through the newsfeed that you already have. But each piece of content can be topic tagged, so that so when content is created, and those who are creating the content, whether it be the circle leader or members within that content, we should get into the habit. One of the things that I think we'll find when we're doing this is that we'll need to get into the habit of topic tagging, so people they can search for topics and pull out content like that. Does that answer it?
Yeah, but I think that's that's clear. Yeah, that's spot on. Cheers.
No worries.
Yes, I have a question, please.
Is that Mary Jane, is it?
It is, yes. I'm just wondering, and this could be because of a ballpark answer, really. As a circle leader, how much time do you estimate that it maybe take to create that quality content? Or how long are they expected to sort of spend on that?
It's entirely up to them. What we're really aiming this is at people who are already producing that kind of content already, but not getting covered for it. So it really, whatever you think is required to provide the quality that you're asking people to pay for. So for example, if you're producing a lesser quality circle, then the lesser time would be spent on it. And so, if you're spending 40 hours a week doing it, then really, and you're not selling, you know, you're specifically concentrating on producing or making the quality of the circle really good, but then not doing your other business, or, you know, not still selling it as something else. And in fact, actually, do you know what, the revenue from the circle needs to be, you know, reasonably high to make it worthwhile. And if it's not worth your while, then I would suggest you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
Yes, a lot of us will already have social media profiles, and maybe quite extensive social media profiles and groups. Will the circles be able to feed out to those groups? So for example, if I make a post to a circle, will that post also go to the circle members' email or Twitter account or Facebook page? Or will it be siloed within the app where a post to a circle only goes to the circle?
Okay, so the short answer on that, Martin, is I'm pretty sure that with regards to email, yes, you can set it up that there's content alerts that go out via email. The answer of whether it is completely siloed within Mighty Networks is the answer is I'm not actually sure at this point. I would suspect that it isn't. That if you wanted to go out, you can do. The only issue I would say there is that, in fact, actually, if you're going to do that, then you would oh, that'll be the phone.
I didn't turn off.
Is that you'll have members of your Bizmerang circle that are paying, but members of your Facebook group that aren't, and you would be automatically sharing content that some people are paying for that others aren't. So again, I'm pretty sure it comes down to a post by post level, that in fact you can say, yes, I want to share this within this group, but I also want to share it within my Facebook group, etc. But I'm not entirely sure.
And one final question. In the original website that Shane had built, there was a very useful referral tool. Effectively, you could refer people that you were connected to within the website. Will there be anything like that within the new app?
At the start, I mean, basically the Bizmerang app will evolve over time, and we'll be adding more functionality to it. At the start, and that's what we're looking for the first 10 to 30 leaders, is to really test out functionality to see, okay, what in the future will we like to add to the... Oh,
that was me, sorry. That was me.
What in the future, I'm trying to see where Martin is. What in the future will be functionality we'll be adding to the app to make it really beneficial. And that's what we'll be taking from each of the beta testers, their thoughts and ideas as to how to really make Bizmerang even more powerful going forward.
Any more?
Okay, any more questions?
Cool, okay. I think, yeah, well, we did it under 40 minutes. So, listen, for me, thank you very much, everybody, for taking the time. There will be a recording of the video will go out, it'll be this evening. But listen, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see quite a few of you come and join us as circle leaders.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks now. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.